Welcome in. I'm Kimberly. This is Pretty Over 50, where we talk everything beauty, fitness, and lifestyle for the over 50 woman. Oh my gosh, talking about my favorite topic tonight, healthy living with one of my favorite women on the planet. Welcome in, Connie Rutledge. How are you, Connie?
I'm great. Thank you, Kimberly. I'm so happy to be here today for part two.
For part two of our series on how to detox. We are all becoming so much more aware of our less than healthy food system and all the toxins in our environment that I just said, Connie, let's do a series on how to effectively detox. Because you know what? If you don't know, you don't know. And the process is quite simple when it's explained. And there's just a lot of things that we can do very affordably and very easily at home to really support our bodies. Now, this is number 2 in our series. The first in the series is over on the channel, and I'll have it listed in the description box down below. I don't know if my assistant has gotten to it yet, but definitely make sure that you catch all 3 in the series because there's going to be great information there. And the second thing I want to talk about is how do you find someone like Connie to support you in your journey if you don't want to do it alone? And the best thing I can suggest is just make sure you find someone who's really aware of real health. We don't want a big pharma pill pusher to step in and try to do this because they're not really going to do it. Now, Connie is in California, but she works with people all across the country. I didn't even meet Connie until a few months back when I went to my daughter's wedding, and we had worked together over the internet very seamlessly, very comfortably for all that time prior to me meeting her. And I just met her as a social thing. It wasn't even a business thing. So, Connie, if someone wanted to look for someone, they clearly could talk with you.
Sure.
What would if they just want to stay with someone in their town, what would you suggest that they look for?
My best suggestion would be to look for a quote unquote nutritionist. A dietitian could be helpful, but they have a different education than I'm a functional nutritionist. I'm a certified nutritional counselor. So you could see a coach, nutrition coach. You could see a nutritionist, somebody that understands the holistic nutrition, real food, parameters, not packaged, like the boxes and those types of systems, I'll say, and look for someone who, anyone like me is more than willing to have a conversation, like a discovery call. You get to know them, you see if you vibe, you see if their way works for you, and give it a shot. And don't be afraid, because it's wonderful to have somebody kind of take a deep dive into your personal day-to-day and give you an idea of, well, maybe you can do this different and add this in or take this away. It should be simple.
Yeah, and gentle. I have to tell you guys, when I first started working with Connie, I thought I knew things. I did. I did know things. I just knew all the wrong things. She was so gentle with me and telling me, a long list of things I did not want to hear, nor did I want to do them.
Right.
But by golly, she was so soft and gentle with me. And then every darn time I'd finally agree to do something that she said, you might want to try that, it ended up being fabulous results. So whoever you work with, just know it's going to be a very interpersonal relationship, because you're going to hear a lot of stuff that maybe is like outside of your comfort zone. It certainly was for me. But
your personal choice for what you put in your body is your choice. And it's almost like your religion. It's so interesting, because it is being gentle and understanding how personal we take our choice, what the choices that we are making. It's a slam when you hear it's wrong. And believe me, I've been wrong myself. That said, I understand how uncomfortable it is to be told what to do.
Yeah, but you're good at it. She does it so nicely, and by golly, every time I would finally end up doing it, it's like, "Ah, she's right again." But it's just the process. It's the process of what makes a healthy body,
It's
and
true.
that's truly what we're lacking. I mean, we can all see, all you have to do is go on social media to find out, how we've been bamboozled, not only by the food companies and the three-letter agencies that are supposed to be policing the food companies and the drug companies and all that. We've been fed a little bit of, uh,
Seems like
a little bit of a fairy tale. Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So let's go on to part 2. Last week we talked about some basic things you can do at home very easily and very affordably to get your body back to a state of health and cleanliness. So what do we have for us tonight?
So can I recap just a little bit? Last week we talked about the easiest way into quote unquote detox is fasting. Fasting, exercise, sleeping, obviously eating healthy food, avoiding toxins, but we can't avoid what is already here in the physical, in our bodies. And we want to talk today about some maybe supplements that we can utilize. And they're typically binders and minerals are very, very good to be able to maybe encapsulate a toxin and carry it out of the body.
Binders, that was a new word for me. Tell us what a binder is.
Binders are typically, there's prescription binders. One that comes to mind is cholestyramine, and that's a prescription binder, and it's something that allows it draws the toxin and it encapsulates it, and then it is escorted out of the body through stool, through urine, through sweating. But those toxins are really, really tricky, and they are designed, well, they want to stay and be prolific inside your warm body, right? There's nutrients, there's, all the things. And the body then knows they're toxic because they're toxins, and they sequester them and they push them deep into the cells. And it keeps you safe. So back in the day, I remember doing hair tissue mineral analysis where you take hair at the root and you snip the hair right close to your head, and you send it off to the lab, and it measures all the minerals and heavy metals in your body. And you can see that maybe you don't have a lot of quote unquote mercury in your body. And as you start doing these binder techniques or cleanses that are kind of allowing the body to heal, then maybe 3 months later, you do send in your hair analysis, and boom, you've got mercury all over the place. And you're thinking, wait, I didn't have that. How did I get, poisoned by mercury? Well, that's because it was so deeply sequestered in the cell. The body's trying to keep you safe. And you can't function with that type of heavy metal or toxin, out circulating. So the wisdom of the body is amazing. And we know that binders are going to help kind of find little, guys, grab onto them and not let them be recirculated. Okay. So they come in by way of activated charcoal, diatomaceous earth, there's zeolite, and they all have specific, specialties. There's fruit pectins. I've got some notes here. I don't want to miss any. There's all kinds of, I'll say, we call them, in supplement form, they're, I'm not coming up with the word, but there's several of them together, formulas that they put different types of binders together to target specific binders in the body.
Okay, so it's like a multi-binder.
Yes.
Okay.
And clay is another one. So we've got bentonite clay, there's activated charcoal, there's apple pectin, there's citrus pectin, there's diatomaceous earth, and zeolite are the big ones. Then there's chlorella. I mean, it list goes on. Nature is perfect at dealing with things that, it needs to deal with. And we just need to get back to appreciating that, the minerals and the nature's detox is so available and it works so well that we just need to understand so that we can continue with that process as we get more toxic on the planet.
Okay, so when it comes to binders, and I kind of started hearing about that word a while ago,
Mhm.
but I don't really know that I understand it.
Okay.
Would you suggest that someone does like one binder and then moves to the other binder because they pull different things out? How do we learn how to do that?
It's such a nuanced thing. I would say that first of all, if you found a formula, just because you like a supplement company, and I'll just say, for example, there's one called GI Detox by Biocidin. It's a kind of a detox. They've got all kinds of detoxification for pathogens and support. This has all kinds of binders together. So it's a really safe and easy supplement to maybe start slowly, taking maybe one a day away from food. You want to take your binders away from food because the concept is on an empty stomach so that it's not going to scavenge vitamins and minerals that
Oh,
should not be, taken out of the body. We want those in. So, I mean, I really kind of question some of that. I feel like, all right, if I'm going to take a binder, typically I will take it late in the afternoon, or in early in my fast to be able to allow that to do its job before I put in nutrients. Okay.
mhm.
You want to start slowly because we want to, and I will caveat that by saying, before you take a binder, I need you to be pooping, well hydrated, because these are earthy, things that can really plug you up and stop the process of not digestion, but your bowel function if you're not ready for it. So you want to start very slow, maybe even a half a capsule. You could mix it in water. If you try activated charcoal, which is very inexpensive, you can find it anywhere. And you can start with one. Now your stool will be different colored. It's going to be dark. So know that. And you want to eat far away from it. Just like if you were taking an antibiotic, you want to take your probiotic 3 to 4 hours away from any of that. So it doesn't meet in the middle and cancel out.
Now, I would imagine, or I suspect that when you start in with binders,
Mhm.
you might have a little sense of malaise or
We
as that stuff comes up to the surface, it might make you feel a little funky.
we call that a Herxheimer reaction, and
Okay.
that is, yes, you can be detoxing and feel awful. And that's why you don't want to go too fast. You want to take your time. There is no finish line, Kimberly. And when we think of these things like, we're doing a nice service for the body, allowing it to have what it needs to, have the process of detox happen naturally and effortlessly. So don't, down 4 capsules at once because you could really, really be uncomfortable.
Yeah, so be gentle with your body.
100%,
Yeah,
always.
yeah.
Yeah.
I use zeolite, I like just a few spritzes under the tongue and easy peasy, but I would imagine that zeolite probably targets different things than activated charcoal would target.
Blue light tends to target heavy metals.
Yeah, because I had those amalgam fillings for years. I had them taken out by one of those specialists, you go and they have the rooms where they suck the air out and the whole thing. But I know that, after decades of having those in my teeth, my body's gonna have it in
Sure.
every nook and cranny, you know?
Well, like I said, it's deep within the cell, and, that's where your body feels safe in keeping it. But yeah, a spritz of this and that, I think that's great. It's just part of cleaning the bathroom,
Yeah.
It's
Now, what about I've heard that things like parsley, cilantro,
chlorella.
adding those, to
All of
your diet will really help?
any antioxidant is going to help the body push, toxins out. So I feel like that's a easy bioavailable way, to assist the body in natural detox.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about detox, I kind of want to go into the liver, because the liver is the vacuum cleaner bag of the body. And how do you know if you need a detox? I think that's a really good question. And I think one of the first things that I ask is, when you're fasting, does your body make ketones?
Okay.
Are you able to get into ketosis without too much trouble? I mean, I think I talk with women and they've never fasted, and maybe they've got, 30 pounds to lose, and they really haven't really had a healthy diet. And the first couple months of being in the fasted state is awful. They're basically doing a detox just by allowing the body to naturally process.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
I just want to interject that I can't imagine anybody, particularly who lives in the US with our toxic environment, doesn't need to detox.
I agree. I agree. But how hard do you need to push it?
Yeah.
And what is healthy and what is, responsible? Because I don't want anybody to get, in the weeds, and you'll certainly recover, but I prefer a gentle, long-term solution.
Yeah.
Okay. Where was I going with the liver? Okay. Can you get into ketosis easily? Do you feel well when you're fasting? And if that's a no, then you want to then maybe start practicing those things. And again, you can add in a binder if you want, but be careful with that. And then get your metabolism and your body a little more stronger for a successful detox. You can look at your blood work. On every chem panel, it is your AST and ALT markers, and you can look at that. I'm sure everybody has them available, and anything above 20, I'm a little bit thinking, yes, it's really something you want to focus on, because that gives us a direct link in how the enzymes, the liver, how fatty is the liver. Okay. So
Okay. So a fatty liver, is that indicative to you of a need for detox?
yes, definitely,
Okay.
because your
I don't
liver
know
is,
about this stuff, guys.
well, your liver is definitely, if you've been diagnosed with a fatty liver or a stagnant liver, you need to then watch the way your metabolism, because that's a direct link. With too much sugar in the body, too much alcohol, those things will contribute to a fatty liver. And obviously, we want the liver as vibrant as possible, because that's where the toxins live. And that helps with burning fat, that helps with overall health. And so it's wise to understand how important that liver, focusing on the liver, and just by eating whole and toxic free food, that's step one.
Mhm.
Okay. And then fasting, intermittent fasting, and then exercise. Those are the three things, and sleep. So those are four big ones before you get into the binders.
Okay. So let's back up a little bit, because for some people, this is going to be absolutely new. They haven't done it. And I'll tell you, when I have a girlfriend, like a newer girlfriend that, 20, 30 pounds overweight, and when you're my age, I'm 60, I'll be 68 next month. Most of the people my age are overweight.
Yeah,
Most of the women are 20 to 30, sometimes 40
right.
overweight. It's just the way it is. It's not a judgment. And it's like I get so upset when people say, "Oh, Americans have just gotten lazy or they're just gluttonous." No, they're being poisoned. It's so frustrating to me, but when I have a new girlfriend and she's 20 to 30 overweight, and she says, "Yeah, I've gotta go on a diet or I've just gotta clean," and I'm just thinking, "Oh, honey, it's so much more than that."
It's
Because it really is. It's so much more than that. It's not that we're fat, it's that I call it literally being poisoned, and what that means is that we're just not metabolically healthy anymore. We can't Our bodies can't keep up. And when you have so many toxins in the environment and they get into your body, it's like your body's just struggling to get you out of bed in the morning, let alone, look like Connie, who looks fabulous.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's it's not easy.
yeah. So on the exercise issue, where do you start? Is 20 minutes of walking enough to just get things going again?
Sure, it's better than no minutes of walking, and you have to start somewhere. And sometimes I'll say, take a 10-minute walk twice a day. And then when you decide that, okay, I've kind of mastered that, then if you're sitting more than an hour at a time, get up and do 10 air squats. They're
Oh, yeah, little
simple.
things like that, yeah.
Get the blood moving. We need to get the body moving. You need to huff and puff at times. And we just don't do that anymore. And if you are sedentary and or infirmed, and just in pain, you need to start somewhere. And it's, again, there's no judgment. It's a matter of do it for yourself, and continue to do it, and do it so that it becomes a lifestyle, and that
Mhm.
you're going to miss it if you don't do it.
Yeah. Okay, so Odette has a question about NAC. Is an oxidant? Could it work to detox?
Sure, it does. NAC is N-acetylcysteine, and it is the precursor to glutathione. Glutathione is an antioxidant, and it blows out. Oxidation is aging, so it's going to help with everything health for the most part, for most of us. Of course, I can argue every side of every supplement. That I will say, if you happen to have mycotoxin, you might want to reconsider NAC. I can't go into it. It would take a whole show to, with mycotoxins and how they affect. That
Is
said,
is that a what is that?
mycotoxin is mold toxicity.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
so, and that said, it's counterintuitive, and it won't help.
Okay.
But yes, NAC is a great supplement, and a lot of people take it. So
Yeah.
not a bad one.
And I wanna stress something that you said that I think is so important, it's easy to overlook, is that this is not a race. It's a slow and steady and comfortable changing into a direction that's just gonna keep you healthy and more energetic and more vital as the years go on. It's not do this for 3 months and everything's better. It's a complete shift in how you do life.
Thank you for saying that, because so many people believe that if I can just, lose the 10 pounds, I'll be good. And I mean, I I like to say, you're never going to get this done.
Mhm.
We are going to be in this body until we're not. And we have to appreciate what it takes to live in a body that you want to live in. And it takes effort, and why not maximize your efforts, especially if they're simple, and just rethink it, and don't. Yeah, and I want it to become a lifestyle for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it just change your whole habits. I know my habits are completely different
I
since I started
remember.
working with you. I know.
And you had healthy habits.
I thought I did.
You did. That said, they just were not healthy for where you were in life at this moment.
Yeah.
The snacks, the beautiful, you shopped at the farmers markets, Kimberly, and you added in beautiful, nutritious foods. It just was a timing issue and too much.
Yeah, and oatmeal.
I know.
Granola.
No, I know. I
Yeah.
know. I know.
Okay, what's next?
Okay. So I have a few notes. All right. So now the liver deactivates our toxins. I'm back to the liver. Our toxins are coming from food. Pathogens, that's a whole nother. Pathogens are gut bugs. They are bacteria, virus, and where's my brain? I'm way ahead of. I'll think of it in a minute. That said, the binders work in the bile. They work in bile to sequester toxins. And when we have binders on board and we have a toxic load like a pathogen, okay, like a candida, fungus, and pesticides, and all those things, the binder is going to have something called, I call it, they're sharp molecules. And when we have a toxic gut full of pathogens that shouldn't be there, overgrown pathogens, let's put it that way, then maybe you have bloating. You have, you're fermenting after eating, so you're feeling full and distended, and you're not digesting. Sometimes if you take diatomaceous earth and the clay, those molecules are sharp and they pierce those biotoxins. Basically, they pierce the pathogens and wipe them out.
Yeah.
So you can have a complete gut cleanse without antimicrobials or antibiotics, and naturally just become much more healthy by taking a simple binder. Okay, we call that, one specific cleanse that I run has something called a sludgy cocktail at the end of the night. And so you're mixing up a little bit of clay, bentonite clay, and a little bit of diatomaceous earth, and you chug that. It's horrible. Yeah, it's like dirt.
It doesn't taste good.
And you get that down, and your body takes care of itself. In the morning, you have a nice bowel movement, and life is good. You can do that for maybe 4 weeks, maybe 5 weeks. You don't want to do these binders day in and day out. You always want to be taking breaks.
Okay, so you would do a little mixture of diatomaceous earth and bentonite clay every night for about 4 weeks, and then give it a rest.
Make sure that you're drinking plenty of water with it. I don't want you up peeing all night, but make sure you're hydrated, and then knock back a good 6 ounces of, this mixed in.
While you're holding your nose.
Yes, I remember I used to add a little bit of stevia. I mean, it was interesting how that less than, if you're using powder, you want very little. You don't want it sweet, but for whatever reason, it softens that hit of dirt. Okay, and see what happens. Start very slow, maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of each.
Okay.
See what happens, and then work your way up. If you have like detox symptoms, if you wake up a week later and you're feeling like a train hit you, stop. That means your body is overloaded with toxins that are circulating that used to be hiding.
Right. Okay, I want to stop here and point out something that Connie just brought up that is one of my pet peeves. I'm going to go on my soapbox really quickly here.
Do it.
Keep track. You're in charge of your body.
Yes.
You own your body. No one knows your body better than you. And one of the things that Western medicine or Rockefeller medicine has done over the past 60 decades is convince you that you don't know your body, that you need to go and talk to one of those guys in the white coats. And that whole thing, ask your doctor if bentonite clay is right for you. Guess what? That's not medical advice. That's a marketing slogan, a very clever marketing slogan to convince you that you don't know when your body is not feeling well. So when Connie says if you wake up and you feel like you've been hit by a train, that's that's a clue for you. And we need to get back into our bodies, start owning our bodies again, and start being in charge of our bodies because no one, I don't care what credentials they have, who they are, what, is going to care about your body as much as you do. So that's my soapbox.
Thank you. That's such a good reminder. And we are female, we're women, and we have heightened intuition, in my opinion. And if we can get quiet enough to pay attention, the answers, your body's giving you answers all day long,
All the time.
all day long. And you have to, you owe it to yourself to pay attention. And we're not getting younger. It's time to maximize the efforts, ladies.
Yeah.
So
So Joe says, I was overweight in my 20s. Diets didn't work. I began eating health foods and fasted at 6 p.m. until 8 a.m. Breakfast, I was eating more, but weight dropped off. Yeah.
that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I wouldn't say it's easy in the beginning. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. So minerals.
Yes. They are probably one of the most important things since our soils are not efficient at adding minerals into our vegetables and fruits these days and grains. I think, and I really am curious if they put the broccoli in whatever hopper they use to measure all the nutrients in the broccoli today, if it would look anything like what was, done, 50 years ago when the
No.
nutritional, stuff was measured? No. So, unfortunately, we can't get around it. We must supplement our minerals. And it's something that you will feel better. And I said it last time, I like the beam minerals. It's the humic and fulvic, along with 350 micro minerals in a liquid. And those are things that I don't leave home without doing. I mean, I do it every single day. And do I notice anything markedly amazing? Well, I feel great. But if I miss a day or two, I don't notice it because I'm my stores are up.
Yeah.
If you've not done something like that, and there are countless brands, you don't have to buy Beam. There's trace minerals, there's ion. That said, I prefer the liquid minerals.
Yeah. So I want to just stop real quick and talk about the depletion of our soils, which, it sounds like a really boring topic, but it's so important for us to understand at least superficially. And what has happened, and if you follow Dr. Zach Bush or if you know about him, I did an interview with him. He's really one of the world's experts on soil depletion. What has happened with what is called factory farming, which is what we have in the US, this corporate owned farming structure, where the whole goal is not to create nutrient dense food, it's to make a profit. And what they have learned over the years is how to create that head of broccoli at the most with the greatest amount of profit to their shareholders. The problem is that they've depleted the soil because these farming practices are good for profit, they're horrible for the soil. So these what you see in the grocery store, most of it has zero nutritional value at this point because the soils are so depleted. The way that you need to manage soil is very, very differently. It's more of a regenerative process than what the factory farming is doing. That's why, when I say we're being poisoned, I'm not kidding because we think we're buying healthy fruits and vegetables, but when you do a test on those vegetables, they have almost none of the nutrients that we think they have because of the depletion of the soil. You have to have rich, mineral rich soil in order to grow nutrient dense fruits and vegetables. We don't have that in this country right now. Now, other countries may be different depending on their farming practices. But right now, what Connie's talking about is the fact that you may cook that head of broccoli thinking, oh, I'm having this great head of broccoli with my steak. Well, there's nothing in that broccoli that your body can use.
Right.
So that's why you need those minerals.
And it's unfortunate, and maybe things will change, but today we really need to be hyper focused on giving our body what it has been screaming for. And if
Mhm.
you're tired in the afternoon, and if you're having having struggles with keeping true blue, eating whole food, you've got sugar cravings, you've got energy issues, you're not sleeping well, the minerals are going to be a quick fix. It's
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's not going to break the bank. It's not free, but neither is going to the doctor.
I know. I would much rather spend my money on supplements than copays.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
What's next on your list, my dear?
Well, I mean, I think we need to be very careful to not overdo it, this whole regimen. If you choose to purchase a binder, it's definitely a something you want to be responsible with, and dip your toe in the water, see how it feels for 3 or 4 days, take a break, then revisit it, and finish the whole bottle, see what happens. If you don't notice anything else, then continue on. If you're noticing that maybe you're getting leg cramps, or something is off, then take a look. I mean, you can always email me. A comment on a YouTube is always good. Schedule an appointment. That said, there are so many things you can do, and maybe it's not a toxin at all. Maybe it's something else going on. Um, Again, trust what's the information that your body's giving you.
Yeah. So Nicole Baker says, I know a lot is off. I want to have my doc check my B12 and iron. I feel lousy, muscle aches, gaining weight, on and on. I'm 64. That sounds like me a while ago.
Yeah, well, yeah. Have you had your hormones checked? Have you had your thyroid looked at? Um, are you eating whole and complete? Are you doing the intermittent fasting? Are you sleeping? Are you moving? Those are the questions. If you want to add in some B12, make sure it's a methylated B12 and iron, and you can certainly get started on those things. Nothing's wrong with adding in a supplement if you feel like you need energy. But the first things, go back and watch that first video, and maybe get practicing that. And if within 4 weeks you're not feeling more energy, then maybe it is time for blood work.
Yeah. And the blood work can really tell you so much. Well, it can't tell me, but it can tell you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it's worth a functional lab evaluation. We look at so many markers, and it's very different the way that I'm trained, because I'm looking for optimal levels. And a point here and there that's off might not flag your doctor. And they might say, no, there's nothing catastrophic here, and there's no drug for this. But boy, I can definitely, I mean, I remember, Kimberly, we played with a couple things on your labs, and boom, you were back.
Yeah. And I want to explain what was happening with me because I think that there might be other women that are having this same issue.
Okay.
And I haven't said this in public at all. You guys, you're hearing that first. Before I started working with Connie, I had always, from my mid to late 20s on, literally crashed in the afternoon every single day, to the point where I would have to manage my schedule, my social schedule, so that I didn't do anything between like 1 and 4 in the afternoon. I had no plans because it wasn't that I was low energy, it was almost like I was dizzy tired, like I couldn't think. If I was at a luncheon, a social luncheon, I wouldn't be able to have conversation. I was so out of it. And I actually had gone to a couple of doctors, and I actually went to a thyroid specialist, and she looked at my blood work, she says, "There's nothing wrong with you." And it was so discouraging for me because I literally would not be able to do like an all day thing with friends because I knew that once that afternoon hit, I would just turn into this almost zombie like. It was weird. And so if you're having that experience, I want to tell you I was there and it's not comfortable because it was almost like I had to manage my life around this thing in the afternoon. So Connie and I started working together. I got on some thyroid medication, found a doctor that would agree to, and it's like completely different now for me. Are there days where I'm less energetic in the afternoon? Yes.
Of
But
course.
I no longer have to manage my schedule around that 3-hour period where I just would be useless almost. So that's how important it is to, first of all, understand your body, know what your body's doing, and realize that there's help out there.
There's help. Absolutely. You just have to find it. And that's
Yeah,
that's that's not easy all the time. But if
yeah,
you're watching and that sounds like you, then yeah, I'd love to help.
yeah.
It's
So,
easy.
well,
Yeah.
wonderful. Let me just quickly see if there are any comments that we want to.
I wanna also say sleep is huge. If you're having trouble sleeping, there's things that you can do to, make sure that you're not in front of the TV, you're not waking up and watching TV. The blue light is definitely something that you don't want to overdo, on your cell phone or on your device. That's something, d move into more of a quiet mode. And if you're already in a quiet mode, maybe an Epsom salt bath, maybe some meditation, something to just offer your body a relaxing kind of way to just kind of turn off, if you will.
Yeah. I use blue light glasses now
Do you?
all during the day. They're the regular one, you can't really tell that
Yeah.
they're the blue light glasses, but
Mhm.
I did just order some of the orange ones that go on over your readers for the evening.
Mhm.
The sense of calm and peace you get when you put on a pair of blue light glasses, it's stunning, and
Yeah,
it really makes me realize how stressful that blue light is to our bodies.
yeah, it can be.
And the other thing is, and I'm gonna tell you guys this, I have this other channel that I talk to people on, and these people know stuff.
Yeah.
I had one gal who knows stuff, and she said, "Unplug your Wi-Fi at night.
Router.
You do not want what's being sent over those signals at night in your house."
Yeah. And that's not easy to do, but and everybody's different how they respond, and you might just not even know that you respond. It's upsetting or stimulating. So give it a try. There's so many things that we just don't really know how they affect our electrical system. And that's why the electrolytes and the toxins are the electrolytes are managing, the toxins are disrupting. And so we've got to find that balance in all things.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
And when we believe what we're doing is right for us, that's a huge how we respond to the emotional side, that the belief in this is good, this is going to serve me, I know this is going to help me. That's huge. If you don't believe it, find another way until you do believe it, because your belief is going to affect every cell of your body.
Yeah.
It might seem woo-woo, but it's very true.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on that. We really are in charge of our whole experience here.
100%.
Okay, so Lolo says, and I want to push back on this just a little bit, but in a very nice and gentle way.
Mhm.
Lolo says, heard that blue light glasses are a hoax. Just dim your lights and turn off TV and all screens. You know, that I think what's a hoax is that some of the blue light glasses that you buy on Amazon aren't going to do anything. You need to find really good blue light glasses. If you want to learn more about the effects of screens and blue light on the central nervous system, Dr. Jack Kruse, Kruse, Dr. Jack Kruse, Kruse, you can find him on X. He has done a deep dive into the effects of blue light and is actually working with Nicole Shanahan, who was the attorney
Mhm.
that worked to make sure that all the devices that we have blue light on them, which was not for our benefit. And let me just put it that way. So once you start doing a deep dive, you go, oh yeah, okay.
And that is affecting, I mean, it's cellularly damaging.
Mm-hmm.
So it might not feel like it is bothering us, but it's undeniable that it is affecting us.
Yeah.
And I mean, I look at my daughters who work full time in corporate, and they're in front of their screens all day long. I just bought one a red light because I know that, you know, they're younger, they're hormonal, they're ups and downs, and still cycling, and you know, that's wonderful. But that is so drastic. Never before have we been embodied with this toxic load. It's coming at us every way, shape, form. And we've adapted beautifully. I mean, look at we're doing okay.
We're still here.
Here. That said, awareness and just having the resources to understand, you know, turn it off, you know, pull the plug as often as possible. And you know, that's not comfortable when if your Wi-Fi's off and your family's somewhere else and you can't get that signal in, then that's difficult to kind of feel like, okay, I'm at the ready to save everyone. So there's the struggle. It's a definite something to factor in.
Yeah, us mama bears have a hard time with that. I'll tell you what's changed for me about that is once I talk with that gal on my other channel about, and she gave me, you know, that look like, pay attention, turn your Wi-Fi off at night. And ever since then, I unplugged my Wi-Fi and I used to sleep with my phone next to me on the bed. Now the phone stays in the front room, the computer gets shut off, the Wi-Fi gets unplugged. And the first couple of nights, it was like a little bit because we've become so habituated to that constant thing. And now it's like, oh my gosh, it's like slipping into this wonderland of peace when I go to bed now.
Do you
So,
notice? You do notice.
oh, I do notice. And it was what was interesting, Connie, is watching that addiction fade. Like watching that stress that first night or two, like, oh my gosh, I don't have that little tethering. And
Yes.
now I'm like, it's such a peaceful thing. Like I'm putting it in there and I'm unplugging it and I go into bed and it's like, ah,
Mm. Good for
yeah.
you. That's
So
impressive, Kimberly.
I'm just sharing the journey. So if you end up trying it, know you're not alone.
It's true. It's true.
I'll never go back to having the Wi-Fi on. It's just too peaceful. So
Nice. I love
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. You're always so informative and so helpful. Thank you so much.
It's such a pleasure, and, I'm happy to answer questions as they come up, and it's not something we're not gonna master this. We need our tools, and there's gonna be things that hit us, every day that are a little bit different. But with enough awareness and healthy practice and just a attention to detail, I think it's gonna really make a huge dent in longevity and health, and that's what I want more than anything. I mean, it's so wonderful to watch your unfolding as you really, take matters into your own hands, learn how to do it better, and just continue with, improving and aging backwards, Kimberly. I know people have commented that many times for you, and I mean,
It's true, and the only thing that's happened is I've gotten healthier. That's it. That's
well,
it, you know?
and that's everything. We,
Mhm.
it takes effort, and so I just want everyone to feel as good as you and I do.
Yeah, and you
That's
look fabulous. Now you can find Connie here on YouTube. She's got a channel, Over 50 Fat Blast, Connie Rutledge. Her information will be listed down below. If it's not there yet, if my assistant hasn't got there, it'll be there really quickly. Check out her videos. She's got so many helpful tips over there that are easy to do, affordable, very, very, you can integrate them in your life without a whole bunch of change. And the one thing I can say is just take it one little step at a time,
yeah,
one little happy step at a time so it's comfortable. And before you know it, you will get so enamored of your new life and the way that you feel that you'll just can't even believe you used to do the old stuff. You just
yeah,
can't even believe it. So,
I love it.
all right. And we will be back next week at a different time
Yeah, that's
at 1:30 Eastern time. Now, see, I couldn't have done 1:30 before
oh,
because I would have been
you're right.
in that coma part of the day, but it's like, I can do that. Yeah.
Now you're enhanced.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Optimized. I
So
love it.
wonderful. Connie, thank you so much. And everyone, thank you so much for joining me. It makes me so happy to know that so many of you are really interested in being as healthful as possible. Don't decide you're old, decide you're healthy and happy, and every year gets better. All right.
Yes, thank
All
you.
right. Thanks
Appreciate it.
everybody for joining us. We'll see you next week for the final in the three-part series. Okay, take care. Bye
Bye-bye.
now.